Hello, horror community, and welcome to Behind the Horror, presented by PromoteHorror.com. I'm your host, HorrO. So, since this is the first episode of Behind the Horror, I'm basically going to explain what this show or this series is going to be about. So, going back to the beginning of PromoteHorror.com, it's always been about bringing horror fans and creators of horror together. When I first started my blog, I kind of jumped right into it. I knew I wanted to review movies, horror gory reviews, and that was the main thing. And I jumped on Blogger and just kind of put the pieces together. I liked that, I didn't like this, so just messing around with it till I felt comfortable with what I was doing. And later then I read up on, you should do this with reviews and not doing that while you're reviewing. And took some of that to heart and just kind of went my own way with other things. But now with social media, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And a lot of people go to YouTube and do the how to do this, how to do a podcast, how to write this and do that. So this is in a way a little bit of how to, but in the horror world. And it would have been nice when I started HorrO Score Reviews or even PromoteHorror.com, and it's something I, in a way, kind of regret, not doing maybe a little more research and talking with somebody or doing some research about the proper way to do certain things and to make it easier. It might have made it easier on myself at some times. So this series is about people for people who are making that transition from I'm a horror fan and I want to do this, I want to do a podcast, I want to be a filmmaker, and hopefully it helps them out. And even if you're already a podcaster or filmmaker or author, it's always a chance for you to learn and be better at things or see how other people are doing things so you can improve or maybe you have a suggestion that you can throw back at them. So I'll just basically give you an example is when I have an interview for PromoteHorror.com. Let's say I'm interviewing a filmmaker. I'm going to ask them, what is your movie, what it's about, who the cast is, maybe where you shot it, and things like that. Whereas Behind the Horror would be more interested in doing an interview but in a different way. It would be talking to the filmmaker about, his experience, how he began. Was it a lot of testing or schooling? What were some of the difficulties early on, and do you still have those difficulties? Things that you've improved in over time, maybe even how the industry has changed if it's someone who's been a filmmaker for a really long time. Kind of in that direction. Kind of tilted towards how they're doing it and not so much the exact thing that they're working on now. Not really, I've always been about promoting horror, but this is kind of taking it a step further to take it behind the scenes kind of. And of course at the end, whoever I'm interviewing is welcome to plug whatever they're currently working on. And I can't help it, this promote horror. And using examples while they talk obviously is going to promote their work as well. And if you show the experience that you know what you're talking about and so forth, that's obviously a good promotion in its own right. So that is basically going to be the aim of Behind the Horror. It's to help out, to have another filmmaker watch this video of somebody, either through audio or video. I don't, it depends on who I'm interviewing wants to be on camera or maybe not on camera, but wants to talk about it. So if a young filmmaker is listening, they can maybe pick up some tips. If it's an author, talk about how they go about writing, their writing process. Maybe did they, the schooling they went through. Obviously, selling books is a hard thing to do, and we do a lot of promotions for books, so we can talk about their experience trying to do that as well. And going back to filmmaking, maybe talk about the marketing aspect of it. Some people have been really good at doing the marketing aspect of the filmmaking, and that's a big part of it. It's not just putting the film together. Some filmmakers do the writing and directing. We can talk about that. And just a lot of going behind behind the work, behind what goes into it, how we're reaching that final product, tips and so forth to get to where they are, and kind of and talk about even their journey. It's been a journey. I've been doing Promote Horror for 8 years, and I've had the review blog for 10 years, and it's definitely been a journey. It's been up and down, and I look forward to talking about that as well. So that's my experience. That's where I come from. So again, this is just another avenue of bringing horror fans and creators of horror together, and thought about it for a while, and thought about writing, doing a writing thing on the site, but that just didn't seem like it would be a good avenue for this. I'd rather have a conversation, have somebody really get to explain it. So that's the goal with this, and I hope it helps. The end goal will to be to help everybody out there, help filmmakers, help authors, help podcasters, or whoever we have on. It will bridge the gap, help people out. As a horror community, I introduced this as horror community, and that's what we've always tried to build. That's what I've always said. I know, it's competition out there. That's the world we live in. But, we've always built a horror community. I'm not worried about the competition out there. I hope everybody visits everybody's sites. I hope everybody helps everybody promote. That's the way it is. And I just want this to be another avenue for Promote Horror to help horror fans, creators of horror, maybe entertain some people, and put a footprint out there, and just another thing that we can do to help serve the horror community. And so I hope you'll join me. I will have other interviews. I've already have a couple of people in mind and lined up to talk about their experience, and we will, like I said, we'll reach out to other people, and this will be for filmmakers and authors and podcasters and other avenues of horror. And if you have an idea or you're interested in participating in this, all the contact information will be down below. You can always reach me on social media as well. PromoteHorror.com always has all your information. Just go to the About page, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. It's something I thought about at the end of last year and been wanting to do for a while, and I hope this helps. I really do, and interested in talking to some people. The people I wanted to talk to about certain things, and I look forward to seeing what they say, and I'm kind of interested in going behind the scenes with their work as well. So it'll be fun for me as well as hopefully helping everybody out there with. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the first episode so we can get this out there and start preparing for the second episode. And again, all the information will be down below. You know where to find me if you're interested in participating in this. Like I said, it may be down the road. I already have a couple of people lined up to start, but we can talk about it. We can talk about horror and your experience and so forth. So I thank you for joining me for Behind the Horror, presented by PromoteHorror.com.